You unlocked it and you cannot remember why. Not in the vague way people say that. Specifically, something in you decided, and by the time your thumb arrived, the reason was already gone. Here is a test you can run tonight. Put the phone down when you finish, and try to name one thing you saw. Most people can do it. A face, an argument, a price. Now try the harder one. Name what you were looking for. That one comes back empty. Not because your memory is bad, because you were never looking for a thing. So I want to spend the next few minutes on what you were actually reaching for, and why the app cannot hand it over, no matter how long you stay. And I want to be careful here, because the usual answer is that you are addicted, that the engineers beat you, that your attention was stolen. That answer is popular, and it explains almost nothing. It does not explain why some evenings you put it down without any effort at all, and why on other evenings you cannot stop even when the feed has nothing new in it. A Roman named Seneca wrote about people doing exactly this. Long before a screen existed, they used ships instead. Go back to just before you reached. Not the scrolling, the 3 seconds before it. Something was happening in the room. It is usually small enough to be invisible. The house went quiet in a way that felt like waiting. A task sat there with the first step unclear. Somebody left a message unanswered, and you were not sure what it meant. You finished something, and the finishing did not feel like anything. That is the moment. The phone did not interrupt you. You went to it, and notice what your hand did. It did not decide. It knew. It knew before you did, the way a hand knows a light switch in a dark hallway. Watch yourself for one day and you will see it repeat. The lift doors close and the phone is out. The other person goes to get their coat and the phone is out. The film you chose has a slow stretch, so you open a second screen on top of the first one. It is never the important moments that get filled. It is the seams, the few seconds between one thing and the next, which means the trigger was never boredom, exactly. Boredom is what we call it afterwards, because it is a polite word for it. What was actually there was a feeling with no name yet and no place to go, and you found a way to not be in the room with it. So the honest sentence is not, I wanted to check something. The honest sentence is, I wanted to feel different than I did. Now the strange part. It works. That is the whole problem. The feed does change how you feel. Almost immediately you feel something else. Mild interest, mild outrage, mild amusement. Something arrives. But look closely at what arrives. It is a feeling in the shape of the one you wanted, at a fraction of the size. Company without anybody in the room. Being moved without anything moving, learning something without knowing anything afterwards, close enough to work for a moment, never close enough to finish. And a thing that almost satisfies is far more repeatable than a thing that satisfies. If it worked completely, you would stop. The near miss is what keeps you there, trying again, and the people who build these things understand that better than we do. Notice what you do when it truly stops working. You do not put it down. You go looking for a stronger version. You open a different app. You come back to the one you just left, as if it might have restocked in the minute you were gone. That is not somebody seeking information. Nobody refreshes a page they believe is empty. That is somebody still holding the original feeling, still hoping to hand it to something. And here's the part that should be a relief. The reason it does not land is not that you are weak. It is that you asked a question the machine cannot answer. You asked not to feel alone in that room. The feed can only offer you things to look at. Seneca had a friend called Lucilius who kept moving. New city, new coast, new air. And he kept writing to say it had not worked. The reply is one of the most useful things anybody has written about a phone, and it was written to a man who had never seen one. He says, You need a change of soul rather than a change of climate. And then, the sentence that does the real damage. It is because you flee along with yourself. Sit with that for a second. Whatever you got up from is still there when you arrive. The room you left was never the problem, so the new room was never going to be the cure. Then he adds the line I think about most. The reason which set you wandering is ever at your heels. Notice what he does not say. He does not say travel is bad. He does not tell his friend to sit still and suffer. He says the moving is answering the wrong question, so no amount of it will ever be enough. Change the ship to a screen, and nothing else in that letter has to be updated. You did not sail to a coast. You went to a feed. It costs you almost nothing, which is why you can do it 40 times in a day instead of twice in a life. You already know how it ends, because you have felt the ending. You set it down after an hour, and the room is exactly as you left it. The quiet is still quiet. The message is still unanswered. The only thing that changed is that it is now later. That is not the hour failing. That is what the hour was always going to do. So what did it actually cost? Not just time. Everybody says time, and time is the smallest part of it. Try naming 3 things you saw last night. Most people manage 1, badly. You were awake for that hour. Your eyes worked. Something went in, and almost none of it stayed. Seneca watched the same thing happen to readers who moved through book after book without ever staying inside one. He wrote that food does no good and is not assimilated into the body if it leaves the stomach as soon as it is eaten. That is the real cost. Not the hour that left nothing behind. In the same letter, he gives the line that closes the argument. Everywhere means nowhere. Somebody who spends all their time traveling, he says, ends up with many acquaintances and no friends. Look at what you carry now. Opinions about people you will never meet, events you cannot affect, places you could not find on a map, many acquaintances, no friends. There is a second cost, quieter than the first. Every time the feeling arrives and you hand it straight to a screen, you get a little less practiced at holding it yourself. The skill is not attention. The skill is being able to stay in a room with something unfinished. That is built the way any skill is built, by doing it, and it is lost the same way, by not. Which is why the seams get harder every year instead of easier. You have not become weaker. You have simply been practicing the other thing. So here is the small thing to do, and it is deliberately small, because the large versions do not survive contact with a real week. Do not delete anything tonight. Do not announce that you are quitting. Those are decisions made by the version of you that is currently calm, and they get overruled by the version of you at 11 at night. Instead, the next time your hand starts moving, stop it before the screen lights up, and finish this sentence out loud. Right now, I feel. That is the entire practice. You do not have to fix the feeling. You do not have to be right about it. You only have to name it before you spend it. Most of the time, the answer is unremarkable. Tired, lonely for about 10 minutes, worried about one specific email, restless in a way that means I have not made anything today. And here is what you will notice. Half the time, once it has a name, you do not open the phone at all. Not because you resisted, because the reaching was the search, and the search just ended. The other half, you will open it anyway. That is fine. You will simply be doing it on purpose, which is a completely different act. Seneca never told his friend to stay home. He told him to bring a different man on the journey. So, one question before you go, and I would genuinely like to read your answer. The last time you picked up your phone, what were you actually hoping would happen?